NBA draft prospect J.R. Smith, left from Texas Tech, shakes hands with Washington Wizards head coach Scott Brooks after an NBA pre-draft basketball workout Monday, June 11, 2018, in Washington. App photo, Alex Brandon republished from the sports capital with permission. Washington, were keeping things simple on NBA draft day with the ABCs for the Wizards and the league. A is for Arizona center DeAndre Ayton, who is the likely number 1 overall selection by the Phoenix Suns. The chiseled 7'1", 260-pound center looks like a superhero. Something he'll turn into one on the basketball court. It doesn't seem like he'll truly buy into the 1.1 hype. That might just be some reticent Luka Doncic fans thinking the Slovenian guard should get the call. B is for blockbuster trade, as in can the Wizards make a blockbuster trade for say Kawhi Leonard A, but if the Spurs insist on shipping him to the Eastern Conference, then maybe. Otto Porter oozes San Antonio DNA. Same with Thomas Satoransky. Toss in the player drafted at 15 and that still probably doesn't match any package from Boston Jaylen Brown and picks of Philadelphia Markelle Fultz. The Wizards would also have to take back another contract for the math to work. Leonard is all kinds of risky. He either was hurt all last or he stayed away from the NBA's gold standard franchise all and he is signed for just one more. Still, if they said yes to the Porter Sato 15 deal, roll that dice on a finals MVP. C is for careful, as in be careful what you wish for Wizards fans if you're willing to help Marcin Gortat pack his bags. Yes, the 34-year-old is declining. Sure, that old-school interior game appears prehistoric at times in the small ball era. Just realize that no Gortat likely means Ian Mahinmi is your opening night starting center. Mahinmi is a very nice man whose offensive game at times reminds one of a giraffe learning to walk. Another C word is chemistry. The Wizards team had little last. Dumping Gortat won't resolve the issue. Of course neither will standing pat. D is for down, not out. When I reported the Wizards had discussed the idea of dealing 15 if teams were willing to take on an expiring contract, many reacted as if that meant adios to round 1. Nope. This first-round selection is Washington's best asset right now. We can scream at the moon as to why that's the case or how the Wizards put themselves into salary cap jail, but been there, done that. Moving down isn't a bad play if Washington sheds some salary, receives back a helpful rotation piece especially if it's Gortat on the move and believes there are some true helpful prospects later in the first. None of this is ideal. It's just not a debacle either, he says, knowing that debacle is another D word. E is for error in judgment made by the good folks at News Channel 8 and WJLA for letting this bearded mug on television as often as they do. Also, thanks for that. Normally the sports capital holds down the Monday slot. This week it was Tuesday night. This week that meant talking draft scenarios for the Wizards. F is for fake it trady lit. You love making up trades. I love making up trades. Since I have this platform, here are some fake trades. Wizards trade 15, Kelly Oubre, Jason Smith, Jody Meeks to Lakers for 25-39, Josh Hart, Channing Frye. Hart Sidwell friends, who shot 39% on three-pointers as a rookie, will earn just over $7 million during the next threes before hitting restricted free agency. Oubre has 1 year remaining before RFA, at which point he might hit $10 million or more per. Frye is non-rotation depth at this point of his career, but perhaps he can sink some open threes. Washington saves around $2 million overall on this deal. It would also have 3 picks overall and could perhaps land center Mitchell Robinson at 25 and Michigan stretch for Mo Wagner at 39 along with point guard Devonte Graham with its own selection at 44. Los Angeles is rumored to have interest in Texas Tech guard J.R. Smith. The trade machine accepts the deal without Oubre involved, so perhaps the Lakers are cool with moving up without receiving him back. Wizards trade 15, Ian Mahinmi, Jason Smith to Hawks for 30, 34 and Kent Bazemore. Any deal involving Mahinmi's contract reeks of fan fiction, but Bazemore makes a tick more over the remaining 2 years. Atlanta might want 2 open guard minutes if it drafts Luka Doncic 3rd overall. Bazemore's game doesn't sniff those contract terms, but he gets after it defensively, can guard multiple positions at 6'5" and shot 39% from 3 last. Sure, dropping from 15 to 30 is rough, but Bazemore provides real minutes and this draft has talent into the 40s. Cool with point guard Jevon Carter at 30, Wagner at 34 and XTERP forward Justin Jackson at 44. This also means Marcin Gortat is staying. G is Kentucky guard Shai Gilgeous Alexander, who would be a fascinating combo option for Washington if available at 15. The 6'6" freshman now might end up becoming the first point guard selected. College source: I don't think there's any question in my mind that helps the best point guard in the draft. Shai is NBA ready right now to help NBA teams step on the court and win right now. Has a tremendous feel for the game, great feel on the ball screen. Can get into paint. Great length, vision, size. Defensive end, has almost 7-foot wingspan. Pest for 94 feet. Can switch and guard, his shot is good. Still a weakness, but he works on it. Got it off quicker. Learning to have catch and shoot mentality. He's a basketball player. He's a guard, not sure how he gets past the Clippers. H is for Maryland guard Kevin Huerter, whose stock seemingly remains solid in the 17 to 21 range despite recent right-hand ligament surgery. He keeps moving up mock drafts with the Bucks 17 and Spurs 18 considered landing spots. If the Wizards are truly down for a trade down, perhaps the Hawks 19, 30, 34, Jazz 21 and Lakers 25 become dance partners. I is for IDNTY, update my mock draft in any timely manner, but will cobble together something before the real show. Among the changes, Trae Young slips to 11, Gary Trent Jr. enters the first round with the Warriors at 28th. Also, a new player for the Wizards. Hold, please. Subscribe today, like this article, support the sports capital by subscribing today. J is for Michael B. Jordan, who I watched umpteen times today in the trailer for Creed 2. Please don't tell Todd Dibbers. Confession: I still haven't watched Creed yet. Hope we can still be friends. The surprise end of this trailer has me ready to atone for my sins as soon as the draft is over. Also, I know this has nothing to do with the draft, but Michael B. Jordan is almost Michael Jordan, who certainly is better than LeBron James, so please let's stop having that silly GOAT debate, especially if we're excluding Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Larry Bird and Tim Duncan. K is for Kentucky combo forward Kevin Knox. While Knox was often projected to Washington in early mock drafts, his valuation seemingly moved the 6'8" freshman into the 9 to 12 range. Still, I have this scouting report from a college source, so Kevin is a tremendous scorer, has the pro size, can play multiple positions, has to show he can guard, but looks like a monster small ball 4. Extremely gifted off the catch and shoot, needs to be with an organization that knows it will take time. 6 to 8 guys in this draft that are game ready in pros. Knox, like many, needs time. L is for Miami wing guard Lonnie Walker, who would give the Wizards an athletic and lengthy backup option behind Bradley Beal. The 6'4" freshman with a 6'10" wingspan can stroke it from distance. He led the ACC's third-best team in scoring last despite starting slow with an injury. One source tagged him with Jimmy Butler upside. Oh, Walker also thinks the Earth is an illusion. Neat. Also neat, me discussing Walker and 3 other potential targets at 15 on the TV. M is for Michigan State forward Miles Bridges, who I have come to predict is the pick for the Wizards at 15. He plays bigger than his listed 6'6", meaning there's enough brawn to defend power forwards and play the 4-man in small ball lineups. Tom Izzo products bring toughness to the league. Bridges can shoot 36% on three-pointers, 85.3% from the free throw line. That 6'9" wingspan isn't impressive. Nobody is perfect. One source said watch out for interest from the Clippers, who are looking to add toughness this offseason. They also may want to add a center Robert Williams and a point guard with their picks at 12 and 13. If not and Bridges slips past the Nuggets at 14, the Wizards would have a chance to add an athletic frontcourt option who can help now yet offers sincere upside. Same goes if Williams remains on the board. That worries of consistency. Conversations about the Texas A&M center makes him the riskier of the two, but with greater potential. I changed the third player on my realistic Wizards wish list from Miami's Walker to Boston College's Jerome Robinson. The 6'5" combo guard averaged 20.7 points and shot 41% on three-pointers. He also met with Washington yesterday. More interestingly, sources have been telling the sports capital that Robinson's draft stock is higher than often projected and could eventually land in the late lottery. N is for not understanding why UCLA point guard Aaron Holiday's stock apparently dropped since the pre-draft workouts began. H. He's got the on-ball skills, the three-point touch, the bloodlines. Even the Wizards at 15 should consider him since his shooting ability would allow for a pairing with John Wall. Holiday slipping into the 20s means gift for a playoff team. O is for oh, no, what have I done by coming up with this cockamamie alphabet article? This oh, no bit also saved me from discussing why the Wizards should absolutely be exploring trades involving Kelly Oubre considering he becomes an RFA next summer. Such thinking isn't popular with Wizards fans, so I didn't go there. You're welcome. P is for point guard, as in do the Wizards need a backup point guard at this point? I think they do. Not suggesting that Tomas Satoransky is headed for Springfield, but the guy made plays on the second unit and as John Wall's injury replacement, and yet his head coach seemingly took every opening to use the 6'7" player elsewhere. If Scott Brooks really views Sato as a versatile piece rather than his reserve one, then the Wizards should seek that version of Fred VanVleet in the second Devonte Graham, and trade Satoransky. I'll bet someone out there covets his vision passing size shooting package. Q is for question Dwight Schrute voice, why did the Wizards conduct solo workouts with Texas A&M center Robert Williams and Boston College guard Jerome Robinson in the final days before the draft? Occam's razor would have us thinking it's because they wanted a closer look at a possible rim-running big man and a perimeter threat they think are worthy of selection at 15. Another thought, since I cannot recall any public solo workouts in previous years, the Sports Capital reported that Michigan Mo Wagner returned for a second and private session this month. One wonders if this was perhaps a way to get some teams below 15 thinking about a deal up. Probably not, but the second approach is more cunning and ingenious, so let's root for that. R is for Reddit. Wizards Reddit kindly had me on its platform Wednesday for my first armor. Among the questions thrown my way, what are the chances we get a new GM during our Wall Beal era? My response, imagine the financial hit if an individual placed annual wages on the Wizards changing GMs over the years. Rough. Beal's contract runs through 2021. Well, 2023. Odds suggest a change happens over the next 5 years if the Wizards don't eventually advance beyond the second round of the playoffs. Of course, numerous moments in time over the last 10 years presented ownership a chance for change, and they didn't. I'm not somebody who thinks Grunfeld is a debacle. I do understand why fans want change. The summer of 2016 alone, yikes. But there's been almost no inkling of a front change shake-up. Until there is, I wouldn't wager on one happening. S is for possible second-round frontcourt targets at 44 not mentioned elsewhere in this article. Maryland forward Justin Jackson, Villanova forward Omari Spellman, USC stretch 4 Chimezie Metu, Louisville shot blocker Ray Spalding and UNLV center Brandon McCoy. Jackson had lottery buzz last. Then came a torn labrum, which cratered his sophomore year. Spalding and McCoy made pilgrimages to Chinatown pre-draft. The draft board may shake out where wings are the best options at 15. Needed athletic bigs are available in a second. T is for training under basketball wonderkind Drew Hanlant. The man who helped turn Bradley Beal into an NBA All-Star and Jason Tatum into a playoff force as a rookie is working with Texas center Mo Bamba. That a player with a 7'10" wingspan even has a chance to become a stretch 5 speaks to the natural talent and Hanlant's influence. Before you ask, no, I am not sure what he and Kelly Oubre have been working on this offseason. Have to think that three-point shot went back into the lab. More to come. U is for underrated. Players I would consider tagging with that U word based on public big board rankings and conversations with sources: Wendell Carter, Colin Sexton, Donte DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson, Jacob Evans. V is for volatile, which is what one league source forecasts for Oklahoma guard Trae Young on draft night. The smallish guard's lack of defensive qualities combined with that offensive decline over the second half of his freshman has some teams shying away. Of course, that Stephen Curry impersonation he displayed from distance was lit. W is for Wichita State point guard Landry Shamet, who former Georgetown coach and I Called Game podcast guest John Thompson III identified as a worthy second-round option. Good size, good athleticism. Can shoot it. Can run a team. Can defend. He had a disappointing year relative to what was expected, but he is someone I think years from now we can look and think the guy was a steal for so-and-so team in the middle to late second. I think HES a one who can shoot with good size. X is for X Factor, which in this draft class is 7'1" center Mitchell Robinson. When you don't play at any level last and thus force teams to re-scout your prep career, you're a mystery. The athletic gifts are legitimate. So is the Wizards' interest in Robinson, according to a source during the pre-draft process. If Washington thinks its culture can help shape Robinson into a professional, wow, this could be the move. Pissed, Wizards culture came up as a concern during discussions with sources more often than just about any issue other than those aging centers, so why is for why I'm not discounting the Wizards' chances for a turnaround next even without any salary cap space. On February 27, Washington stood 36-25, good enough for the 4-5 seed mix at the minimum. Then it lost 14 of its final 21 games. The weight of carrying on without Wall eventually wore the Wizards down. They had baffling losses all whether the all-star point guard played or not. With any luck, Wall won't miss exactly half the in 2018-19. If he plays 75 games, if Otto Porter's hip stops becoming a nagging injury and they avoid medical calamity elsewhere, this team has 3 to 4 seed potential even if the entire crew returns along with the additions of 15 and 44. That's not the same as predicting a 3 to 4 seed finish. Boston, Philadelphia, Toronto, Indiana and Cleveland with LeBron James are among the other factors. Washington's top 5 players are all 28 and under. Bradley Beal was having an All-NBA before those final weeks. Porter raised his scoring average for the 5th consecutive year. Wall remains a 20 to 10 force nightly. It's likely the 18 and 19-year-old selected at 15 won't become a steady rotation player. That's okay. He just needs to outperform the 15 to 20 minutes per game worth of production from Jody Meeks for a boost. Biggest key is figuring out why this team looked out of sorts on the regular. Get their head game fixed and another 3 to 5 wins come easily. Avoid injuries, tack on more W's. The fear is what happens if chemistry remains combustible and the medical report remain longer than Auber's wingspan. Could happen. So could a turnaround and an opportunity to reach the Eastern Conference Finals, in theory. Z is for Texas Tech guard Zhaire Smith, who more than any of the other likely options at 15 matches the type of raw athlete Wizards president Ernie Grunfeld selected in past. The overlap with Auber probably doesn't work for roster balance. The competitiveness and above-the-rim prowess does. That others in this specific phylum include JaVale McGee and Jan Vesely surely has some of you thinking Howard pass on Smith. Ben Standig is a host, writer and co-founder of the Sports Capital. This DC area native grew up rooting for all the local squads and dabbled in the professional media world after college before making a shift to sports writing in 2005. Since Ben has covered every team and big event in town for several outlets including the Associated Press, NBCWashington.com and Scout.com. The Sports Capital is a WTOP news partner. Based in Washington, D.C., the Sports Capital's reporters cover the Redskins, Nationals, Capitals and Wizards. They also cover news on Maryland, Georgetown and GW Sports, as well as local athletes. Subscribe to the Sports Capital today.